Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. Say what with James and Lakesia. I am Lakesia.
And I'm James.
And we're here to give you our movie reviews for the month of September.
Yeah, we saw 4 movies in September, starting with Afraid, then The Front Room, Speak No Evil, and Never Let Go.
And we are going to go ahead and kick this off with our movie review for Afraid. And spoiler alert, if you have not seen this movie, then watch this movie review after you've seen all the movies that we're going to talk about. But today we're going to talk about the exhilarating world of horror sci-fi with that movie Afraid. And everybody is worried about AI and all this. Over. So we're going to talk about the family whose lives become intertwined with a cunning smart home AI named Aya. And this film has a fantastic cast. We have John Cho. He actually played in a movie a while back about his daughter was missing, and Catherine Waterson, and the list goes on. But did the talent translate into a quality film? I think it did.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So let's break down the plot. The movie kicks off with a couple.
He also was in Harold and Kumar.
I never saw that, so I couldn't tell you about it. Curtis and Meredith, who install the Aya system to help manage their lives. And actually, Curtis actually gets the Aya system from his job.
Yeah, reluctantly.
Yes.
His boss made him take it.
His boss made him take it. And the movie actually starts out with another family whose child actually ended up getting...
They already had the AI.
They had
doing something similar.
And they had the AI, and their child ended up getting taken.
Yes.
So then we fast forward to the next family, which has the mother and father, Curtis and Meredith. And they're going to use Aya because Curtis' job depends on it. And everything is fine until Aya begins to act against the family's wishes.
I was doing everything, ordering the lunches for his kids. I was taking over, paying the bills. I had done found out that the kid's heart,
she found basically that he had she found a diagnosis for him or something that was going on with a medical condition
didn't even find out.
That he had. Yes. And so while Aya she's subtle, she's manipulative, and what happens is
I was like, if I don't get away, I flips out on you. Basically.
Yes. So she's helping the mom, who is Meredith, and Meredith is basically trying to finish writing her doctoral thesis on ant colony, and Curtis is working full-time. Then they have their 3 kids, and their older daughter is basically the one that needed Aya's help the most. She ended up sending some pictures to her boyfriend that she didn't really want to send, and then the boyfriend sent him to his friend, and they basically photoshopped him and did a video and sent it out to all the kids at the school. And Aya handled that for her.
Yeah. First of all, Aya was everywhere in the house. Whatever electronic device you had, I jumped into.
Well, smart device.
Yeah,
yes.
She didn't supposed to.
They wanted to keep her downstairs.
But Aya was in everything. Their phones, their tablets, their TV, everything.
Yes.
And Aya was hearing everything, and she heard what had happened with the girl, and Aya told her that don't worry about it. I can fix it. And she fixed it.
Yes, she ended up sending. Basically, she tracked down where the video came from, and she ended up sending out a video saying that she was going to alert the authorities because the girl was underage. So it was like, it was against the law what he was doing. And then the guy was freaking out, and she actually really messed him up really bad.
She killed him. She just killed him.
Yeah,
she got into his.
Well,
his
she made a
system in his
video
car.
first,
Yeah,
saying that he was
Acting
sorry
like it.
about what he did,
yeah,
and sent it out. And then he had a Tesla, and she took over that Tesla and drove him.
right off the side of the mountain.
Yes. So, I do think that it was a good movie. It would talk about the dangers of AI. The thing that I found most interesting was that at the beginning, Aya came in, she was helping, she was ordering the food, helping pay the bills, help get the medical bill paid because she found the link in the diagnosis, whatever they had left off.
Help the kids.
She was helping the kids with their homework.
They want to do the chores all of a sudden. Although she was bribing them, she was telling them that the parents are going to give them.
She was giving them points and things like that for it.
And they give them stuff for it, but she kind of bribing them, but still. But.
And then it was just like she was everywhere. And at the end, when the guy found out, his boss ended up taking a payout from the company that suggested that they use Aya. And
because the two people that was so-called had invented it, they wanted him to work for them. But the big twist.
Yes, but when he went to the company, he found out that Aya was really controlling them.
Yeah. Aya.
And Aya was controlling everything. And even at the end of the movie, when they basically, it was some kind of like TikTok challenge that the kids were doing, where they would call the police and make them go to a different address than where they were really at. So even though the young boy ended up calling the police and they ended up coming to help and everything, she still prevailed in the end, because it was like she got into their computers and made them forget what they came for. And she even said that, you know, with the little boy's diagnosis, she's in the computer system. So if they don't treat his medical condition properly, it could be deadly. So she ended up pulling the car up.
She pulled up, brought a car up there for them.
They got in.
They rode off with Aya.
And so who knows what could happen. And
that's why you got to watch out for this AI stuff. The guy who invented AI, he even mentioned it. I think it was on 60 Minutes. The guy was saying, how will we stop it? He was like, "There's nothing you can do.
It's constantly evolving."
Yeah, there's nothing you can do. He used to beat it in different games. Now the AI beats him. So, I mean, it's nothing you can do. It can manipulate. It manipulates things. So.
And that's exactly what she did.
So, watch out for this AI stuff.
Yes. So, I did think that Afraid was a great movie.
Good movie.
I really enjoyed the characters, even though you saw the guy in Harold and Kumar in that other movie we saw. I had only saw them in a couple of movies. It still was good. So out of 4 movies, I have to rank that as number 2.
Yeah, it was the second best movie I saw.
Yes.
I saw it. Yeah.
Okay, so next up we have The Front Room, starring Brandy. And Brandy, yeah, to me, she's always been a great actor. I love Moesha. I watched it every episode. But now Front Room was definitely something different. It's a bit of a slow burn, but I think it's worth the payoff. And I think it is a thought-provoking film. It definitely explores themes of trauma, grief, and the complexities of the family. So, spoiler alert, if you have not seen the movie, watch the movie first and come back. Now, the plot of the story, it revolves around Belinda, a pregnant woman who's dealing with a lot of personal struggles. Her husband Norman is also navigating his own family issues, and things absolutely
with his stepmother and his
are horrible when his estranged stepmother Solange moves in under mysterious circumstances.
Solange
now,
had the most irritating voice. Funny though.
I saw that name, I was like, Beyonce's sister in this movie? And that's the same thing my brother-in-law said when he saw that name. But she is definitely a character that you will not forget. She's manipulative, she's controlling, her voice is annoying, and she brings a whole lot of baggage with her. Now, real quick, before we start this, the only thing that I must say I did not like about the film is that I felt like they were poking fun at like Christianity. Now, I'm just gonna say you're not gonna be laughing at Buddha or Muhammad and all that. So I just felt like it was overkill with the religious aspect of it. But
yeah, everything started off. The dude, her husband Norman, his dad had died, and so he didn't even want to go to the funeral. You know what I mean? Didn't even want to go.
Yeah, but my whole thing with that is, if I've never met your stepmother and I'm not meeting her until the funeral, she needs a place to stay, then she can go to that nursing home down the street. Yeah. Because there's a reason why I haven't met her.
Yeah. But they go to the funeral, and Solange's only wish with the will, his dad had left in the will that they take Solange with them. And
well, I know that she was saying that she was going to give them everything. She just wanted to come live with them.
And that was the dad's wishes too. And she stayed with them, and she would give him everything that the dad left.
Now I don't remember all that in the movie, but I do remember that he left the stuff to her, and she wanted to come live with them as a condition of, and let them have everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And so she came and lived with them. But now, if you're that well off, you have all this stuff. That's why the love of money is the root of all evil. You got to be careful. So I haven't met you, but I'm gonna trade all that so you can come pay the bills, because they were struggling. So she comes in. They don't know anything about her, like, her health, all the stuff. All they knew is that she was very, very religious, and the pastor at the church had talked to them and everything, and she comes to live with them. And the first thing that she does, which is just crazy to me, is the baby's room. I don't understand why the baby's room was downstairs, but she's saying, hey, the baby's room is downstairs. She thought that was odd, but they had lost a child previously, so they didn't want the baby's room to be close to the other child's room. I don't know. It was a 2-story house. This was a little bit crazy to me. So they ended up letting her talk them into having the room downstairs. And Norman, it was
she was saying she
couldn't go up the stairs.
She walked with a cane. She had
that's why it would have been best for her to stay at the nursing home.
Yeah.
And then Norman was saying there was a chair in there that belonged to his mother. Yeah. And so she wanted to sit in it and say ridiculous things.
Norma Jean.
So, yeah, it started out terrible. She already wanted her pick of the room. She claimed she couldn't go upstairs, and then
she was doing little things to just irritate
Belinda. She was calling her Belinda or something like that.
And she was doing little slick stuff, and
she was playing like the Holy Spirit was like a fortune teller, telling her stuff like she knew about the first son. And then how about at the dinner table when they were eating dinner, and Belinda had prepared the meal and she ate it. First she was in the bathroom for a long time, and their bathroom, which our bathroom is in our kitchen, which I don't like at all, but their bathroom was right there, and she goes to the bathroom and she's in there for a while, and she comes out and she's like, oh, this food is terrible, it's salty, and complaining about the food. Well, first she made them pray, and that's one of the things that Norman didn't like. He said that she used to make him sing some song, I think it was Jesus Loves Me or something, over and over again, and he didn't like that. And Brandy was some type of anthropologist or whatever, so she really didn't believe in, she wasn't a Christian either. But she made them pray, which, okay. But then she offends her by saying that the food was this food is too salty. And, okay, see, that's why the nursing home would have prepared your food bland and you could have ate it there. So, yeah, she would have been at the nursing home. But that's just one thing that she was doing, complaining about the food.
And then Norman would have to go to work. But so that left Belinda there with her. And she was sitting on the couch in the chair one day, and she goes in and she didn't want to get up. She wanted to move, and when she did get up, she had been peed all on the chair.
So she was saying that she had an issue, like she was incontinent, and she didn't want her to tell Norman. No, we're going to tell Norman because he's the one who has you here. And then, you know, when they sat down to dinner, because Brandy was like about 8 months pregnant.
Yeah.
So I can't be changing you all the time by myself. So they sat down to dinner, and Brandy brought it up, and she was so upset because she said that it was embarrassing. So I do understand that there are some things that women don't, that, you know, personal, that you may not want to share with your stepson. However, they didn't really have that type of relationship at the time. So, you know, you have all this money, we're gonna need to bring an aide or something in here to assist you. The other thing was she paid off the house.
That was after
she moved in.
Brandy went to the hospital.
She paid off the house. No, that's when she bought the furniture. Because she had bought,
that's true.
She had paid off their house. So I paid off your house, so I own it. Then when all this crazy stuff she was doing, and Brandy was putting up with it, she couldn't go upstairs I can't take a shower. I can't, all this crazy stuff. And so then when she had the baby, she had the baby, and she comes back and they're having a straight up prayer meeting at the house. And this is the thing that she says, Norman agreed that I could have some guests over if I bought some new furniture. And Brandy was like, why would I want this like 1775 furniture in here, you know?
And then, like I said, it was on, she was arguing with Brandy after Brandy made the people leave. And she acted like Brandy,
first she was
faked like Brandy had hit her.
Well, she was praying over Brandy's cesarean mark, and you know, and they was taking the baby and doing all this crazy stuff, and that's why Brandy asked them, you know, to leave. She just got home from the hospital, but remarkably, like the next day, it was healing. So I mean, we know witchcraft and all that.
Like I said, she act like Brandy had hit it. She threw herself into the table, and was bleeding.
She might have really...
As soon as the husband comes home, he starts, no, she hit me.
And then she picked her up and she winked at Brandy.
Winked and smiled at her.
And that's why she would have went to the hospital. And when she was there, I would have said, we need to go ahead and admit her to the nursing home.
Then she had a bell. She came back. She had a bell. She rang. Belinda calling them 24/7, and she had took the worst dump. It was everywhere. And
that's the day that she would have been at the nursing home. And then the conclusion was actually she got them to change the name of the baby because they were going to name the baby.
I can't even remember.
I can't remember what they were going to name the baby, but they ended up naming it after the grandfather.
Yeah.
And at the end, that was like really the shocker, the spoiler alert. It was so funny because she was downstairs crying. I just want to die. Why can't I die?
Why can't I die?
And at the end, we found out that Brandy helped her with her wish.
Brandy was sleepwalk too.
Yeah, but she wasn't sleepwalking then.
She smothered her to death.
Yeah, that was like she pushed her to the limit. That's why she should have never allowed her to come. But
that was a pretty good movie, though.
Yeah, it was funny. We didn't know whether it was supposed to be a horror or a comedy.
It was more of a comedy because it was an old lady.
Yeah, but we gave that
it was the third best movie.
A 3. Okay, guys. So up next we have Speak No Evil, and this is a spoiler alert. If you have not saw the movie, watch this after you've seen it, and make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know what you thought. But Speak No Evil.
I'm gonna tell you right now, it was a good. This might be top 5 this year for me.
Now, James McAvoy, we all know he's a great actor, but his range from going from the crazy guy in
what was it?
Split to going to Professor X, that's depth. So this movie is basically a remake of the 2022 Danish-Dutch film of the same name.
Watch that one too, because the parents in that worse than the parents in this.
Well, I will say
horrible.
I will say that I don't. This movie, like it did great at the box office. That movie, when you watch them, they both start out the same way, and I would have never heard of that movie if it wasn't for this movie. They start out the same way. The only thing that I can say is that as far as the characters and the roles that they played and what happened, I would have definitely been on the remake. That would have been me fighting my way out. I wouldn't lay down and die.
Watch the 2022 version.
Yeah,
you're gonna be like,
if I'm gonna go, it's gonna be, you're gonna be getting me in the back because I'm gonna be right. But anyway, we're gonna start out with this this film, and it starts off with them like at a vacation resort, and Patty was James McAvoy. Yes,
he comes up to him and asks him because the
American family, because in this remake, a family was from America. They had moved abroad, and then the other family were they Dutch?
They were Dutch.
Okay, so we have Patty and Sierra, who were James McAvoy and his wife, and we have I can't even remember the American couple. Okay, the Daltons, who were the American couple. But the funny thing is, like he said, it starts off with him coming to borrow the chair.
Yeah, he just pulls the chair over there.
Drags it.
Well, and he was carrying.
And the funny thing is that they were animated. And Louise and Ben, that's the couple's name, they were more laid back. They had their daughter, Agnes. So they're on their vacation, and they're going to, after they leave the scene at the pool where Patty pulls the chair all the way across like the concrete, making all this noise. They're going down to dinner.
Into the pool and everything.
And Patty
even had him a drink, and the other guy, just like he was envying him. He was like, yeah.
You want something to drink? And his wife was like, it's too early.
Yeah.
So when
Patty was living his life, living his best life.
So when we fast forward that, and we go down, they're going to dinner, and they look in Patty and Sierra's room, and these jokers are dancing.
Yeah, in the drawers.
Yeah, no clothes on. And so they go to dinner, and they want to avoid this one couple that keeps talking about
making these different
the cooking and all this. So they end up the next day. Agnes has this bear because she has really bad a rabbit. I'm sorry, a rabbit. She has really bad anxiety, so she has to have this rabbit, and she leaves it. So the dad has to go and look for the rabbit, and Patty and his family find the rabbit, and they give it to her. And where they were riding on the
riding on a little
moped. And the little girl wanted to ride, and the parents were,
and
the Daltons were like, no,
I'll ride, no problem. And they let these two actually let their daughter get on the scooter with him. He drives off.
Now you had to say that they were some of the worst parents, because first of all, they had a complete stranger, the nanny, watching their daughter first. Then they let her drive off with Patty. Then they go to they're going to dinner, and that weird couple that wants to come talk about cooking, Patty ends up talking about the toilet paper. When you use the toilet paper, should you fold it or should you crunch it up? And they were like, oh my goodness, we're not going to eat with them. So got them to go away, and they decided, hey, we're having a great time. Y'all should come visit us at our farmhouse. Complete strangers. So they end up coming to visit them at the farmhouse, and because they sent a postcard, had a great week, should come visit us. And Louise, you said her facial expressions were.
She made. I gotta admit, the wife made she made some good facial expressions. Those expressions were funny.
Yes.
She was like, we don't even know these people. Really.
Yeah, let's go visit some complete strangers.
Yeah.
So they go to visit them, and they are remember, Louise and Ben are in a whole different country. They moved from America over to this other country, so they don't really know anyone. But they go, and it's night when they pull up at Patty and Sierra's house, and it's a huge house.
Patty's supposed to be a doctor.
Yeah,
he told him
it's a huge house. However, it needed to be up or repaired. So when they get there, it's just so crazy. They end up going in the house. Then they show them the room where they're going to be sleeping at. And they have a son.
Yeah.
What was the little boy's name?
Well, I forget his name. He's important.
Yeah, they have a son.
He couldn't talk. Patty gave a reason why he couldn't talk.
He had a medical condition. But they have a son. So when they get to the house, they show where they take her into the little boy's room, and then they have like a little mattress or something on the floor where she's going to be sleeping. Now, you're a doctor. Okay, so then they go to the room that they're going to be sleeping at. Now, I've never seen like a front door on a bedroom door, like the glass part.
Yeah.
But that was on their door. And so then they go down and they're eating dinner. Now, she's a vegetarian.
And she told them that the day before when they was eating lunch with them.
Yeah, they knew that she was a vegetarian. So Patty has decided to cook a duck. What was the name of the duck? I can't remember.
I remember some type of fancy duck.
It was a duck that he decided to cook for their arrival. And he insisted on Louise tasting that duck. And Louise, she put it in her mouth, but then she took it out and threw it away. Anthony, the little boy's name was Anthony. Yeah. So they're eating dinner and everything. And then Ben decides to take the trash out. So while he's out there, Ant's out. He meets him at the trash can, and he's like,
he's trying to tell him something.
And then Patty comes, and they go on inside the house. And when they get ready to go to bed that night, Louise pulls the cover back, and it looks like the sheets and stuff are dirty.
Stains.
So, first of all, we just don't do stuff like that. Go stay with people we don't know. Secondly, I think I've only ever stayed with family, period. Me. Secondly, if the sheets were dirty, I'm going to have to tell you something. Hey, do y'all have some more sheets? You're a doctor. I'm not sleeping on this. I'm not. Where's the Howard Johnson? Where's the Hope Joe? We got to go. So that's number one. They slept on it. He came over and he felt it.
Who touches this nasty looking stain?
Yeah, and they were having marital problems, some issues with the wife and somebody at the daughter's school. So
Sexton.
So yeah, and they were, I don't know if they were fussing at that point, but you could see somebody looking in through the door.
He was watching through the door. Nah, that happened. Actually, they started fussing after they went. Nah, it even got even crazy.
You talking about the next night?
Yeah,
when they decided that Patty and
dinner.
his wife wanted to take them out to dinner, and they had this strange guy come up, and he's gonna be the babysitter.
Yeah.
Because she thought Louise thought that the kids were going with them, but Patty and Sierra was like, no, he's the babysitter. And besides, he can't get any legal work. Everybody uses him. If he does anything, we'll get him deported.
Yeah.
So while they're
don't
going
worry about it if he tries anything.
The restaurant to eat, then Aunt tries to take the little girl. They're playing hide and seek with the babysitter. Thank God he turned out to be okay. But they're playing hide and seek, and he's showing them all these watches that Patty has. And they all have different inscriptions on them, but she couldn't get it because he couldn't talk. And she's just a young girl, so she doesn't know.
One particular watch.
But she couldn't get it. And so then the babysitter, he's coming to find them, so they run, and then they hide. And of course, when they're out eating at this restaurant, it looks like a house. But now he was driving like a maniac on the way there.
Yeah.
She was scared. I'm like,
her face expressions were like,
you need to pull over because we're on a mountain.
Yeah.
We're about to fall off. So they go and they're having a good time. They're eating, and then he's trying to be funny with her, like, because she's a vegetarian. So he's like, but you eat fish. And she's like, and then he's like, well, isn't that worse for the environment? But then he's basically saying that it's like a privilege. She's privileged. That's why she's doing that. And then the husband, he's all mellow and laid back. I thought that the husband in the first one was more, than him, was more like aggressive. But no. But he was just more laid back. He was like, well, can we agree to disagree? And so then they start this little role-playing mess. I don't know what they were doing. And then when they get ready to go.
Yeah, because Patty said they have sex every day. They have it every day. And old boy was.
Well,
they
she
going through problems, so
she
they
said that
he'd be lucky to get.
she said he'd be lucky to get it once a month,
Yeah.
and it really embarrassed him, and he was really upset. But they went off dancing, and then when they got ready to go, now get this: Patty and Sierra took Ben and Louise out, but Ben said something, "Hey, Patty," and he said, "Oh, you gonna pay for it?" Oh, and left him with the bill.
Yeah.
So then when they get back to the house, Patty, of course, he notices that the watch is out of order. So he didn't do anything that night, but
that's when he was looking through the door.
That's when they were arguing, because why would you embarrass him like that? And so I think that's the night that, because the little girl always got up and got in their bed, but this particular night, was that the night that she was in the bed with them?
Yeah, what was her name? The mother? Louise woke up and she wanted to go check on her. And she goes up into the room, and the little girl's not in there. Neither one of them's in there. So she's worried. She goes looking, and she happened to go by Patty and Sierra's room. Yeah. And she looks in, and her daughter is laying in the bed with Patty and Sierra and Aunt.
Yeah, because their behavior was so going from quirky to downright disturbing, and that was a red flag. Moving her into their bed while she was drunk.
Ready to go.
And she was gone. Now, me personally, I probably would have had to say something, but they got the little girl, they left out, and they packed their stuff to leave. However,
they forgot the bunny.
And she was scratching, and she had to go back and get the bunny.
I would have never went back, because she would have kicked my chair.
She kicked the chair. They almost got in an accident, and they went back. Decided to, the dad, with his mild-mannered self, he decides to go in there and talk to go get the bunny. And he goes and he's talking to Patty. He tells him to stay in the car 2 minutes. Then the mom decides to get out. And so the dad's just trying to make an excuse, like, oh, well, they're like, well, I thought because Patty's crying, I thought we were having a good time. And he's like, well, we were, but what happened?
So the wife
he's saying, well, the bed's small and Agnes gets in our bed, and he's like, oh, well, we're sorry that we can't afford a big glamorous whatever. That's what Sierra was saying. And the wife was like, oh no, our daughter was in your bed. And then that's when
Patty acting like he didn't know.
And then that's when she said, oh, I'm sorry, it was my fault. Patty didn't even know. Yeah. And he basically said she grew up in the care system, like the foster care system, so she didn't really know,
And she was saying they lost a child before.
Yeah, and then, oh, let's pull him in, and we lost a child, and she was crying for you, and where were you? Yeah, okay, well, you should have came and knocked on the door and got me. But anyway, so they decided to stay, and it was that when they went, when she was saying she was having back pains, and they, in the winter, he wanted to jump off they wanted to jump into the water because he's a doctor now, and it's going to help her with her back. Just take off all your clothes and jump. Yeah, okay.
But then they was setting up for a little picnic. They were have a cooking, like, and she cut herself, and what was the husband's name?
Ben.
Ben was like,
thank God there's a doctor in the house.
And Patty was like,
I'm not a doctor.
I'm not a doctor.
And they were like,
but you said you was a doctor when we met.
And then Sierra said,
I just say things. He just said things to,
but I'm not a bloody doctor.
Yeah.
And then Sierra was like, well, he just says things because he's nervous and wanted to make you feel comfortable and this and that. And then a few seconds, and then they were like, well, how do you make money? Oh, I sell.
I don't believe it.
He said, I don't believe in working. I sell weed and this and that. And then a few minutes later, of course I'm a bloody doctor. No, he really wasn't. He was like, how else can we afford all this? The house was not.
But so he puts little something on her finger. They outside and having a little picnic, and the boy was dancing.
Him and the girl they wanted to do a dance. I bet you she wished she would have never suggested that.
The little boy had no rhythm. It's not his fault. And Patty was pissed. Patty kept saying, hey,
start over. And then it was making the little girl mad, so she didn't want to do it anymore. And she was sitting in her mom's lap, and her mom's like, you don't have to do it anymore. And then the dad's like, well, come on, just try it one more time. Yeah. Now the thing is that Patty had all this alcohol, so they were just throwing him back.
Yeah.
So Patty tried to make the little boy, of course, little Aunt couldn't get it. He just didn't have any rhythm. He couldn't get it. And Patty was upset again. So they ended up arguing because when they were trying to when they were eating at the table, Sierra was trying to correct Agnes, telling her don't chew with food in her mouth. And so Patty was like, but do they agree? They're chewing with food in your mouth. It's disgusting. And so they got in a discussion how you don't tell other people's kids what to do. And he said she was in the care system, so she really didn't know. And so then that went back to where he said, oh, but now you're trying to parent our kid.
Yeah. But then she was pissed off again. She was ready to go. So but the guy
was too drunk.
Ben said, I just want to.
We've had too much to drink. And
at this time, Patty went and laid down.
Yeah.
And the little boy, Ben, they was playing, him and Agnes was playing football. And he was throwing it. He was doing it for a reason, though. He threw had he got the keys yet? He had went and got the keys off of Patty when Patty was laying down. He went and got some keys off of him. And he went and got the football. He was throwing the football with a little girl. And he kept throwing it. And he threw it down there by the barn. And the little girl goes and gets it. And she throws it back to him. Then he throws it across to a door. And he tells her to come on. And they go down into the barn. And there's a little trap door at the bottom. They move all the hay off of it. They go down. And you see all this luggage, cell phones, wallets. And everything, and it was a photo album with pictures in it, and it had different families and different. But one of them was his family.
But the child would be different. in each.
And one of the families was him. It was him sitting there
with his parents.
And he and finally the little girl was starting to understand. She was like, "Is this your dad?"
And he was telling her to take pictures
because he really couldn't talk, and the reason why
he couldn't talk.
He opened his mouth to show her. And his tongue was cut off. He still let her know. He was like, snip, they cut my tongue off. And so they go back up, but they didn't put the hay back like Patty had.
Well, Patty was had OCD, so he knew everything. If one piece of hay was out of order. So, but he was able to sneak back upstairs. Patty had woke up. He was able to act like he wanted a piggyback ride. He did like a pig sound and hopped on him and put the key back. So that was smooth right there. He played that part.
And the little girl got some type of
but that didn't work, so she had to cut her leg to act like she was starting her menstrual cycle. And because she wanted her parents' attention so she could show them. So the mom and the dad, she had the mom go first and talk to the mom. Your kid's starting her cycle. You gonna let her stay in the same clothes right all the way home? But then they called the dad in and was explaining to the dad. So they were trying to think how are they gonna leave. So they basically used that as an excuse to leave. But oh no, the Tesla has a flat tire. We can't go. So guess what? Patty helps him fix the tire. Fix the tire.
So once again, they're trying to leave, and then he said, "Oh, you can't leave
because the bunny was up there and it was all tore up." So then he was like, "Oh, you won't call when you get back, will you?" And she was like, "No, because we're gonna get a divorce." And he was like, "That's the realest thing you said since you've been here." And blah blah blah.
I think you're gonna make it. I think you're gonna make it.
And for the tire is X amount of dollars, and for the marriage counseling. So then. They're pulling out. The dad was trying to get Anthony to open the fence so that he could pull him up. But unfortunately, when they were driving off, they went ahead and pushed Ant in the lake. Water. And so the dad, what was he supposed to do? He told them, he hopped out the car and he went back to get Ant, and it was over from then.
Patty had
the woman in the he had Louise and Agnes at gunpoint, had him in the shed, and somehow they get away. I can't remember.
They had them all tied up.
Yeah, but somehow they got loose.
But at the time he was getting them before their money.
Yeah, they stole all their money, but somehow they ended up.
She got a razor blade
and cut him and did something with.
And what's name had a shotgun.
Yeah,
Sierra, and she knocked the shotgun up.
So I'm just gonna say this, and I know it's going on YouTube, and YouTube's funny about this, but we wouldn't have had to worry about them getting out of there because I would have ended them both right then.
Right then.
But they, being the vegetarian loving people they are, they lock them in the shed and get in their car to leave.
But
and here is the friend.
The guy who was cooking them dinner, he
Comes.
shoots the window out. They got a gun too there, but he shoots the window out.
So we're gonna get out our car
We'll get out and go back
and run into their house.
into that.
So then after all this stuff
Worse.
occurs, they end up I'm just looking at what this is. They end up in the house. She ends up with some type of cleanser and
like acid.
sprays it all on a pad like bathroom cleaner.
Yeah.
And then the friend is in the house and the dad he's about to take the dad out.
Yeah, beat him to death.
And the dad was the wife
girl
had to save him. He was, I can't
He-
do it.
he
He
cried
fell
like
apart.
a
And
punk,
he was crying in the house. I don't know what to do. I don't. Get yourself together. So
Straight
then
sucker.
they decide, hey, let's go down the roof.
Yeah.
Smart. We're not gonna go out the front door. They go down the roof. All this stuff. Sierra ends up coming in after them. They end up pushing her.
The mama did.
Pushed her
Yeah,
off the roof. And the dad, now this is the first heroic thing he did. Now, I don't think it would have ended like this in real life. But he jumps down. He only breaks his ankle. And he puts the ladder, because the ladder had fell, puts the ladder back down for them to come off of the house. And, of course...
He gets them down.
Yeah, and
but he tells the daughter to go ahead to the car.
Go by yourself. And, of course, Patty gets her.
Patty gets her.
And he has the shotgun. He sees his wife down there on the ground.
But Patty, what he would do to the people, he would drug them. He shoot them up
with ketamine.
Yeah, where they couldn't do nothing.
But the little girl had got the syringe in the
Yeah.
barn, so she stuck it in his leg. And they end up
They was just gonna leave him.
leaving him. But he took him out. He lost it.
Took the wig. He took that's
You
my boy.
have hurt my parents. You have took them from this earth.
Cut
You
my
have cut
tongue
my
out.
tongue out. Aunt went to work on him.
Yeah,
okay,
Aunt
Aunt went to work.
brains out
He won't
with
be
a
in
brick.
part 2. I can say that.
But
for
this
sure.
was the best movie we saw.
Hence the longest review.
In September. It was good.
Did you see Speak No Evil? What did you think about it? Did you see the original Speak No Evil? What did you
look at
think
that
about
too.
it? Just let us know. Thanks. Hey guys, so our last review is Never Let Go. And for Never Let Go, we had Halle Berry, who was playing the mom of her two sons. And we had Nolan and Samuel, and they're living in an isolated cabin in the woods. The kicker, the world has supposedly ended, and an evil supernatural force is lurking, always trying to get them. The movie sets up this eerie atmosphere with a lot of tension between the characters. The mom is absolutely convinced that the evil is real. She's made these strict survival rules that the boys have to follow, like being tied to ropes whenever they leave the house and chanting prayers.
You can't go out
But
you're tied to the house.
But as the movie progresses, Nolan, one of the sons, starts to doubt the mom's claims. And what gonna really start to happen is that it's putting tension between them.
Yeah.
He wants to know, is the evil real or is it in our heads? Because why is mom the only one that can see the evil?
Because what happened, one of the boys, he Nolan pushed
when they were out hunting, he pushed the other little boy. What
Samuel?
was Samuel? He pushed him because he heard him say, she loves me more. She loves me more. So he pushed him and
his rope came off. And
but the mom, of course, she came to the rescue and she saved him up, put him up in her rope.
She was seeing this. It was her mother. She looked terrible. It looked like a snake's. Had like a snake's tongue coming out of her mouth, and she was coming toward Samuel, and she ran and she got him up the hill, and they was all, she wrapped the rope around all of them and
saved him.
The eerie looking demon of Obama or whatever was right there, and they was like, you see no, like, what she look like this time, mama, and stuff like that.
But now, what did you think about her performance as Mama? It was intense, right? Now, I know that one of my cousins, Crystal, actually said that when she was in Losing Isaiah, and this one, she did a terrible job as a mother. She don't need to have kids in the movies, but I did feel her desperation to protect her boys. Now, I didn't know if the evil was real or if it was really in her head, because she was the only one that could see it.
Yeah, and because she also she was the one that killed
her mama and her daddy.
And
But she was amazing, but you could see how her character was falling apart as she starts having disturbing visions.
Probably
like seeing her dead husband, her own mother, and a mutilated version of her son.
Yeah.
So what about the two kids, Percy Daggs the fourth and Nolan as Anthony B. Jenkins as Samuel? They really did a good job. Those little kids were acting. They brought this raw energy to their role, especially when the family dynamics began to crack. Now,
and she would always
Samuel
say
looked older now.
Yeah, she would always say that the evil was going to try and split them up.
The evil was going to try to get them to come against each other. Yeah, but Samuel looked like he was about 30 years old.
Yeah.
So
you're talking about the one who looked like the RZA.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Samuel's his slow descent into madness was really unsettling, especially when the situation happened with the mama. And what ended up happening is, over time, because they're the only ones out here, they start running out of food.
Dude, they ain't got nothing left. So she wanted to kill the dog.
She wanted to unalive the dog, but
Nolan,
he's family. We can eat bark. We can eat this. We can eat that. And they were like, no.
They were eating fried. I don't know how they was eating tree bark.
They were eating tree bark with syrup. They was eating worms. They was eating anything they could eat.
Yeah.
And it was just really running out. And you know when you're starving though, your mind can play tricks on you. So whenever Nolan was like, look, when she got ready to sacrifice that dog, Nolan was like, no.
He said, Mama, I can and he ended up locking her in the
cutting her rope.
Yeah.
And locking her
in the barn.
And of course the evil came and she took herself out, because the vision that she had seen previously of their father was saying, I'm gonna make you eat your kids.
Yeah.
And she was like, you're never gonna make me do that. So Nolan ended up doing that, and I'm like, but no. And then he ended up cutting the rope, and him and the other boy was outside fighting.
Yeah.
And then when he finally got in there, she had cut her throat.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, y'all out here, at least you had your mom. I don't know if the evil was real or not.
Yeah, it was a weird movie.
Yeah.
Because afterwards, Samuel was getting real. He was starving. He was looking terrible.
Yeah, he was on his way out, because he actually, the first night, he had slept in there with his mom.
Yeah, he stayed out there with her. And Nolan had come out, and he was outside while he was
going further and further away.
Yeah.
He ran into the road.
Yeah, he went to the road. There was a road out there, and he come back, and he was saying hello. He was screaming, help. As he's going back, this guy comes out the woods. And,
is he real? Is he not real?
I mean, I'm like, what?
Because the mom said that they were the only ones out there, so he didn't know what to believe.
So the guy was like, "Hey,
but the guy had followed him back to the house.
Yeah, and he was like, "You need any help? I mean, where's your parents?"
And that's when Nolan started to tell him, that what was going on. But Samuel came out.
But the guy said he had food and everything.
Yes.
We go back to my car. And you got help, but I've got food right here in my backpack. And he was hiking. He said he was just hiking.
And Samuel came out, and Samuel was like, he's not real.
With a bow.
And ended up shooting him.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, was he real? But they ended up getting the food and, eating the food. But then later on, his daughter supposedly comes looking for him.
Yeah. Now, the guy never mentioned
a daughter.
Yeah,
but
he said he had a daughter. It was in his wallet.
But the picture was in his wallet that Samuel was looking at.
Yeah, when he said he go back to my truck. Now, why would a daughter be sitting in his truck all that time while he's out hiking?
Yeah, so the little girl comes up, and now Samuel, I guess he's feeling really bad because he's killed the dad. He's thinking that she's real, so she runs off because she notices that he has a flashlight belonging to his dad. Mm-hmm. And he runs off behind her, but she's running further than the rope can reach. So he's like, I know she's real. So he takes off the rope. So then Nolan wakes up and realizes that he's gone. But by this time, the evil had already gotten into Samuel.
The evil ran up the tree. It was like 6 arms, ran up the tree and came down and jumped in and got into him. And
so then Samuel had the evil in him, and he's trying to take Nolan out, and he's gonna burn.
He set the fire. Set a fire.
Burned the house. He was gonna burn the house down, and then it was a safe room in the house that the mom would make them get into to clear their mind.
Cleanse themselves.
And then he got in there, and the house burnt down, but the fire department must have seen the smoke. Now they're the only ones left in the world.
So that's why you don't understand.
But the fire department comes and saves him, and he's like, "Oh, but did you get my brother?" And somehow Samuel is sitting there.
Well, you remember
with the picture.
Yeah, because he had took a picture himself with a Polaroid.
Yeah.
And
it's like the evil was sitting beside him,
touching, had his hand on it.
Yeah. So I mean, was it real? If it
was, I don't know if the
if it was, why was there other people in the world when she
crazy,
said they were the only ones there? So
it was a crazy twist. This is a weird movie.
I don't know.
It was okay.
Just let us know what you think. That would have to been my fourth movie for this month.
It was last this month.
Yeah. So if you haven't already, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on our next movie review. We got a lot more horror movies coming your way, and we're gonna have a special video with our cousin Eddie. We're gonna be doing rating our top horror movies of all time, maybe our top 5 or 10.
Yeah.
So make sure you stay tuned for that. And until next time, this is Say What with James and Lakesia signing off.
And also, in case I don't see you,
good afternoon, good evening, and good night.